Welcome back to another video on B. Richter's Movie Corner. I got two videos today. Number one video is going to be a movie review of the new Blair Witch film that came out yesterday on September 16th. I've read online and I've seen a lot of people do videos on this, and I just wanted to give my own little review of this. So, the first Blair Witch Project came out in 1999, which was 17 years ago. And when I saw it when it first came out, I went to a full packed house seeing the film for the first time. There was a lot of people crying, a lot of people laughing at certain spots, people being scared at certain spots, people leaving the theater as they went out of the theater saying it was stupid and they got motion sickness and all this. Okay, now, from when I saw the movie for the first time, I had mixed reactions about it. One, I liked the concept of being lost in the woods and then hearing certain things, and then towards the end of the movie you find out that there's a house and they've been all there all this time, never ran into the house. I mean, I like that part of the story. I can see where a lot of people got motion sickness for that reason, because of the shaky cam and all that stuff. I mean, because if I went like this, I mean, on my video, you would probably get sick of seeing, you know, me shaking around all over the place. But in my own mind, you know, I enjoyed the film, and because I had made some short films back in the early 90s about movies in the woods and about killers and stuff like that. Now, going to the new movie that came out yesterday, I went and saw it in the theater yesterday morning, and I wasn't perceiving to see anything different that I had not seen before. But when I did see it, the beginning of the movie kind of like tells a little bit of the backstory about Heather, her brother trying to find out what happened to her, and all this time later, that there was this person that sent him a tape and that supposedly looked like Heather in a mirror, and he takes along some of his friends, and they go into the Burkittsville, Maryland woods to find if she's still alive or anything that they can find about her. In the process, they go to the people's house. This guy named Lance and his girlfriend, her friend named Tulip or whatever her name was. So James is his name. So James, this girl that he's with, Lisa, and then their friends Peter and Ashley all go to the woods, and slowly it's a slow process for the film. I mean, it does show certain things about when he's talking about they're going searching for the Heather and the friends in the woods and stuff, and then it slowly progresses to where it's not like in the original movie where it's night after night after night, things start to progressively get worse. And it's not. I think that in the film, they go there one day, they wake up this one day, and then for the rest of the remainder of the movie, it's pretty much night. Now, certain aspects of the film, this is going to contain spoilers, so if you don't want to watch this video, go ahead and stop it now. But certain things in the movie, which was definitely made me enjoy the film more, was when the two people they meet up in Maryland, they leave off. One of them runs off, and the girl's behind, and they can't find him. So he comes up and there's a lot of jump scares in this movie, by the way, which really, you know, I mean, it doesn't really bother me any, but certain people don't like jump scares here, and then another one, but you know, it's no big deal. But he comes back, and then they find out in the next morning, which was the only other morning they have, is that there's like the wooded features where it's got like a cross and like down length thing with rope around it, and find out that he actually had something to do with doing that. So they kick him out and they tell him to leave, go back, and, you know, don't worry about him. So then it's just the four. So then later in the day, they go out, and then they end up coming right back to the same spot they were that morning. And Peter, he goes looks for some wood, and he starts hearing these noises and stuff, and he ends up getting a tree falls down on him, and you hear him screaming, and then you see like a flashlight disappears and stuff like that. Now, one aspect I really thought was pretty cool on this was the one girl, Lisa, has before they went into the woods, has like this drone thing that can go up in the air and search and look and see if there's anything like a video. It's kind of like a drone video camera that can go up in the air and look and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool. So then, but before they had reached that campsite where they had slept, the one girl, Ashley, they had to walk across this creek to get to the other side. She ends up cutting her foot, and I get they guess it's like glass because it was like pretty deep cut into her foot. And prior to Peter, the previous night, he kept looking at her foot, and all of a sudden something like moves from the bottom of her cut, and it's like kind of weird. And you're like, what the hell is that all about? So anyway, going back to the part where Peter's disappeared, and then the two people they told to leave, Lance and his girlfriend or whatever, come in there, and then they're saying that they haven't seen him for 5 days, and they're like, what the hell is going on here? We just saw you 12 hours ago. So it's kind of like not like in like some kind of like time warp or something, where the time has went by and they've been in these woods all this time and they have only seen daylight in 1 day. And then so the one girl comes back and she stays there, and he runs off. Lance, he runs off, and then find out there's branches with like rope around it, and all of a sudden she unwraps one of the branches, and all of a sudden Peter's body falls out. And that was a pretty cool not effect, but that was a pretty cool how they did that. Like, she pulled off this like sleeve or something, and then just his body comes falling out. So then they all run off because they start hearing all these noises, and throughout the movie you hear all these noises in the background, and it's definitely different, considering that they did a part 2 called Book of Shadows 16 years ago, a year after the first one. A lot of people hate that movie, despise it. It really shouldn't have been called that. It should have just been called like people going in the woods, or it should be called like Burkittsville People Murders. I don't know, but the guy who directed it went on to do the 3-part series about the 3 kids that supposedly killed these boys in the woods. I can't remember the name of it, but if you remember the name, just leave it in the title below, comments below. But I've seen all 3 of them. But anyway, it was not that good. I didn't care too much for it. There were certain things I liked about it, and there were certain things I didn't like it. So getting back to Blair Witch movie, so they all end up running away, and Ashley, she gets away from the other 2, and I don't know how she did it, but she ends up like getting poked in her thigh, her lower thigh. So she starts to pick at this little sore, and pus comes out. So if you're grossed out by that, by looking at pus, don't turn away when you watch the scene. But pus comes out of her leg, and she pulls this like thing out of her leg, and she's really frightened about it. So, and then she looks up, and Lisa had drone up in the air, and it got stuck, and somehow she couldn't find it. But it's stuck up in a tree. So she climbs up the tree with a cut on her foot and a sore in her leg. She goes up there, and I knew that something's going to happen. Either the Blair was going to take her away, or she's going to fall out of the tree. Well, she obviously fell out of the tree. So, and when she falls out of the tree, you don't really see anything, but her body moves away from her camera that was like way over here. But then so you have James and Lisa around. So they go running. They're not together, but they end up coming back together. and they run into the same the house that was in the original movie. Granted, this movie was made in Canada, unlike the original movie, but the house looks pretty much the same. And James thinks he sees Heather, or hears her, because he keeps telling Lisa, I need to go in, I need to find out. Well, he goes in the house, and there's a lot of doors and stuff, and he runs into these doors, and he sees like the shadow moving across the hallways, and goes in the other door, and then she sees like somebody standing in a corner, and you know, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, I've heard a lot of reviews online saying it was bad, saying it was stupid, certain things they didn't like about it. Well, you know, I mean, not everybody's going to like the same movie, okay? That's what makes movies fun to watch. You can like Stand By Me, or you can like Halloween, or you can like Friday the 13th, or any type of movie, but not everybody's going to agree on the same thing. For instance, I like Saturday the 14th. There's probably 10 or 12 other people out there that do not like it. Anyway, so, going back to the story, so Lisa ends up, she's outside, she hears this like loud noise and thinks she sees like a figure, so she enters the house, and this whole time James is in this house, alright? Well, she gets into the house and she starts seeing like certain things, but she thinks somebody's like, she hears things, and you realize that Lance is in the house, and he ends up grabbing her and throwing her down into this like pit of some sort, and so he's still alive. He's saying Rustin Parr and stuff, and he's saying that she's telling him to do this stuff, and this whole time I don't know what happened to his girlfriend, okay? I don't know if they didn't want anybody to know about it, they plan on doing a sequel, I don't know. But he ends up throwing her in there, and she's stuck in there, and she's got to go down through these like little tunnels full of holes and water and stuff, and she starts hearing these things come out, this loud noise, and she runs into this one spot where it's like a big open space, and she ends up hearing things, and she finally sees somebody, and she don't know who it is, and ends up stabbing Lance in the neck. Well, he dies. So then she starts yelling for James, and then they end up meeting each other again. Somehow they got up into the top part of the attic. They couldn't figure that out. Then you start hearing all these noises, and then you see these lights coming through the house. And when I saw that part in my mind, I was like, what is this, some kind of like alien invasion or something? But no, that wasn't it. I was probably just like a bright light from the Blair Witch trying to, you know, figure out, I don't know what all that, but it was cool regardless. So they end up going in the attic, and then they hear this loud banging noise and steps, and hear people, this thing walking, and he tells her, turn around, turn in the corner, look in the corner, don't look at her, don't be how would you say it, don't be invested in what she has to say. And so he thinks he hears Heather and all this time, so he ends up turning around, and it takes him off. Well, so is Lisa on the left, right? Well, she's standing in the corner, and she says, well, I'm not going to look. She's got a camera, all right? She pans the camera over to a certain side of her, and you actually see, for the first time, you see this long, like, stick-like cylinder figure sitting in the back, and it looks like what the branches look like, and you actually get to see the Blair Witch. Granted, it's only for a few seconds and a few frames, but when it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, and you pause it, you can actually see what Blair Witch looks like. Ellie Kedwood, whatever. So she puts down, she gets real frightened, and then all of a sudden she hears James talk to her behind her back, and it ended just like the original movie ended, where she was knocked out, the camera just sat there, and then it went to credits. Now, would I recommend this to anybody that likes horror films? Well, I would say yes and no. Yes, because you want to find out exactly if you get to see the Blair Witch. 2, you want to see what the storyline is about. And for people who say why I would say no, is because, you know, it's not a classic horror film in in that way, you know, I could not recommend it to people. Now, for me, I liked it. I would rate it probably a 6 out of 10. I would rate it about I would rate the first Blair Witch a 7 out of 10, and I rate the second one a 4 out of 10. But yeah, so I mean, will I buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD? Yeah, I'll buy it. Yeah, so basically that's my review of Blair Witch. I mean, I know that there's probably been at least 20 or more other people that talked about this movie. Some people saw it advanced screenings on Wednesday or seen it in midnight showings on Thursday. I saw it yesterday, just talking about it today. But, you know, anyway, so that is my review of Blair Witch. And that will be the end of season 2, episode 10, so season 3 of my reviews. I might take a break doing seasons. I might just do like random reviews and stuff like that, like I've been doing the Friday 13th. Like I'm going to be doing probably either today, later today, or tomorrow. I'm going to be doing the Toxic Avenger review discussion of that. So, well, thank you for watching my review of Blair Witch, and you have a great day. And the next video you see will be some questions and answers that people subscribers of mine have asked me, or people that are friends with me on Facebook have asked me, and I'm going to do a question and answer video. So thank you for watching, and keep watching and subscribing.